Okay, so today I want to make it where you push a button and, one second here, let's move this to the bottom. You push a button, and when you push the button, the motor turns on, the stepper motor. So to do that, one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to go look at here, and we used this code already, howtomechatronics.com, and we used his code right here. So let's just copy and paste it. Let me exit out of this ad. There we go. Is there like a copy and paste button? No, there's not. Alright, so let me just copy and paste it all. Copy. I'm not getting all of it. Let me zoom out a little bit so I can get it all in one shot. Alright, copy. And then let's paste it into the Arduino IDE. Oops, right here. And so I'm just going to open a new one. Here's a brand new one. Let me exit out of this one and delete all this because we're just going to paste directly over it. And there it is. So first let me just delete this comments to save some space here. And we're going to only use 2 pins to control the motor. These are going to go to the A4988 driver. Same thing as we did before, no different. We're definitely going to use them both as outputs, so there we go. And then notice that we set the direction high. Okay, that's just going to make it go clockwise. Okay, no big deal. And then it does a loop, and it does this loop right here. This is what's important. To make the motor turn is we turn it on, then off. So we turn it on, wait, off, wait. If you want to slow this down to make it go a little slower, just increase this number by a little bit, make it 800 or whatever you want. But I'm not going to use a for loop. So, and also I'm not going to do the rest of the stuff, the rest of the delays, the other loop. I'm not going to do that. So pay attention to what I did do is I did not mess with this void setup. It starts here with that highlight area and it ends here, and that's just where we just set the two the 2 pins to outputs. And then we have the digitally right to direction pin to high. Okay, that's fine. Where it means we're just going to go clockwise, and this will only do one step. You barely won't even notice it move. Here's where I just want to say if. And I'm going to say if my button is pressed, do this constantly. So just do this as long as I hold the button, as long as it's pressed. So for that, if you ever looked at the button code, we need a different button. So we'll just call it constant int, and we'll call it button, and we'll just set it equal to pin 2. It's right nearby. And it's going to be an input though, because it's the Arduino's listening to if the button's pushed or not. So we're going to say pin mode, and we're going to say high. Oh, sorry. Pin mode, and what pin? The button pin, and it's going to be an input. There we go. And then right here, before we even go in this loop, we're going to do this. We're going to say set button. We're going to create a new variable actually. We're going to say int, and we'll create a variable called pressed. Like we're wondering if it's pressed. I don't know. You can call this anything you want. So this is going to check to see if it's pressed. And we're going to create it, and we're going to do a digital. Let's see if I spell this right. Digital read. Nope, I didn't change colors, so I did it wrong. Nope, it's lowercase. There we go. I thought I just spelled it like that. Okay, so digital read. And what pin are we going to read? We're going to read the button pin. That's pin 2. This is where you could just write the number 2 if you wanted to, but I'm going to write the word button because remember that is 2 right there. And so it's taking this pressed thing, a variable that I created. I just created a variable called press, and it's going to set it to this, which is either high or low, 1 or 0. So then I'm going to say if pressed is equal to high, then do the code from here to and then here. There we go. Now this one has to be here, this highlighted one, because that's this loop one right here. So this is all looping constantly, all of it. But this loop right here, this loop here, where it's just going to make one bump like that and start moving the motor, that's only if I press it. if it's high. It's only going to do that. Otherwise, it just sets the direction pin high, then it sets the pressed variable to whatever the button is doing, and then if it is high, it does this, and that's it. I don't have anything else, and that should work. So pretty straightforward motor. Pause it here, make sure your code looks like this. Pause it here, make sure it's like that. So I just kind of scrolled the whole thing. You can pause here, pause there. Make sure your code looks like that. And it should work. Now what does that look like on the breadboard? Well, before we did have, if you scroll here, I think we have pins 3 and, oh, it's not going to let me go anywhere. So pins 3 and 4, these two here, those are going to go to your A4988 stepper motor driver. Okay, so it's going to be the same as before, where we were just making the motor turn. The only difference is we're going to use pin 2 as well. So bring pin 2 over to the breadboard, and bring a button over there as well. And this wire that goes to pin 2 is going to go high if I push it. So that means I'm going to need some high voltage, not high voltage, but 5 volts is high. So there we go, there's 5 volts. See it coming from here? 5 volts is here, and that 5 volts is going to go to there. You could just take this wire and directly put it there, I guess. So when I push this button right here, when I click this high voltage right here, the 5 volts, will move over to this wire and go to pin 2. But if I don't push it, I need it to be negative, so I need some ground. So I'm going to put this ground right here, and then let me get ground. There we go. Put it in ground. So here's ground, and it goes in here, and it goes in this row, and I'm going to put it here. So let's say I'm not pushing the button. What does this wire read? Is it low or high? Well, it's going to read low because it's going through here. Just make sure that this resistor is semi, like not too high, like a 330, 500, something like that. Don't make it 10,000 or a million. Make sure you know what it is. So I wouldn't go over 1,000 for this. So 1K resistor or 1.2K, 1.6K. Don't go over that. So make sure it's at least that. And then we got that, and it's going to go this way. It'll be negative, low, and when I push this button, this high volt, the positive 5 volts will go in and out here, and it will read the high, and it'll make the motor turn on. So that's it, and that should pretty much do it.